This is Unscripted at 40, Episode 2, Becoming Her. Hey friends, welcome back to Unscripted at 40, the space where we shed the rules, drop the masks, and create a life that's deeply, unapologetically ours. I'm Wen, and today I want to talk about something that doesn't get enough space in conversations about reinvention, that inner shift. So last episode, I shared the what, my marriage ending, losing the job, the pivot, but today I want to talk about the who I had become to even make space for a new chapter. Because let me tell you, starting over isn't just about strategy, it's about identity. And at some point, I had to really stop asking myself, what do I do now? And start asking, who do I want to be? This episode is brought to you by my digital shop, Wen Designs, where creativity meets intention. If you're on your own journey of growth, healing, or stepping into your next chapter, I've created a collection of beautifully designed digital tools to support you. From printable manifestation journals and self-love toolkits to looks, wall art, and Canva templates for creators. Each piece is designed with love, intention, and just a little bit of magic. You can check it out at Wen Designs online on Etsy or click the link in the show notes, because whether you're manifesting your dream life or just planning your week, you deserve tools that feel as elevated as you are. So let's talk about the past version of me. She was constantly in survival mode. She was productive, polished, well-educated, and a little bit of a perfectionist. She knew how to play the game, but she knew that also meant abandoning herself a lot. She dimmed her voice to feel safe in her career, relationship, friendships, and even with family. She tolerated a lot of things that didn't align just so she could feel that sense of security. And so then when everything fell apart, that's why she thought she failed. But now I see things really differently. I understand that that past version of me did what she had to do. She did what she had to do to succeed and to move forward. And this version of me, the woman that's speaking to you right now, she's choosing alignment. And she's learning that ease is not laziness and that peace is not something you have to earn after struggle, which is something that we are so often taught to believe, that struggles, challenges, and obstacles equate to success, and that if you are not going through any of those, then you are not successful. And another thing that I have taken the time to reflect on when it comes to that past version of me is giving her some grace. And not just giving her grace for mistakes and decisions she made in the past, but also showing her gratitude, because she did go through a lot of things. And she did make certain choices that led up to this point. But being proud of the person I was, regardless of where it brought me to, is something that has helped me in this journey now. Helped me heal, helped me find closure in things that I didn't get real closure in. And just learning to love myself even more. And the same goes for any past version of me, whether it was 5-year-old me, 15-year-old me, 25-year-old me, or the version of me now. Just showing that person grace and understanding, forgiveness, love, and just saying, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for what you've become, what you overcame, and for bringing me to this point. There was something I saw on some social media platform that said when you kind of get in those moments of where you're beating your past self up for whatever decision you made, whether it was something that happened yesterday or years ago, was like imagining yourself at 5 years old, and would you tell a 5-year-old would you say the things that you're saying to yourself to a 5-year-old, basically? And so I think of those things when I find myself in those moments where I want to beat myself up for past mistakes. So now let's talk about what it means to become that aligned and elevated version of yourself. So for me, it means going through a shift, and not just any shift, not the shift of, oh, I lost my job and now I'm unemployed and now I need to find a new job, or I'm starting a new job. Those are certainly shifts, but this is not the type of shift I'm talking about. For me, this shift came about in 3 different ways. And the first one I want to talk about was really getting to a place where I could quiet my mind enough to hear my own intuition again. And I say again because I know that my intuition was always there, is always there, but for the longest time I learned to shut it out or ignore it. And on top of ignoring it or shutting it out, I've always dealt with kind of this clutter and noise in my head, where I'm always questioning myself and doubting myself. Why didn't you do this? What if you would have done that? Oh, you big dummy. Why did you say that? And it happens so often that I find myself looking at things very negatively in whatever scenario that may be. I dissect it, I replay it, I dwell on it, and I go through the notion of really giving myself such a hard time. It's terrible. And I have really started focusing on that and the way I talk to myself, because there's no need for it. And if I am allowing myself to talk like this to me, of course I'm going to allow others to talk like that to me. And so that was a big step in clearing that noise and that negativity from my head and my space, and focusing on the intuition, which was nothing but love and encouragement and guidance and wisdom. And whatever that source may be, or wherever that intuition comes from, I know we all have different beliefs, but for me, I have found it to be a safe space and a place where I can rebuild myself and, deprogram that mindset of mine. It's terrible to really think about how sometimes we can be so hard on ourselves, so critical. And so that is something I still work on daily and find ways to bring more positivity into my mindset, and notice that negative clutter has slowly started clearing away. And then the next part of my shift was letting go of timelines that weren't mine. And that was really big back when I was going through my infertility journey, because I was so hyper fixated on everyone around me, and not even people that I knew, just like social media, random people on TV, on the news, whatever, in public. It was just something that I could not stop comparing myself to. Like, how is it so easy for all these people? Why am I struggling? Why is it happening to me? And even outside of that journey, just comparing myself overall, especially as I got closer to turning 40, I felt alarm bells going off, because 5-6 years ago, I would have been fine. It would have been like, oh yeah, I've checked off all these things. I'm married, I've got this career, I'm working on building a family. But now that I don't have any of those things and I just turned 40, I felt, oh my gosh, this is just terrible. Like, this is the epitome of failure. And I was only saying that because I was using others as a tool of measurement for my success. And so often we find ourselves doing that because it's just human nature. And yes, some may argue that that's a good way to keep yourself competitive or motivate yourself, but in some aspects, it's just not healthy. There isn't a one-size-fits-all for life. There's not just one roadmap or blueprint to it. And what's success for me may not be success for someone else. And then again, you just never know what's going on in other people's lives. Behind closed doors, it could be something completely different. And everybody has their own struggles. But once I let that go and realized that I'm on my own timeline, it lifted a huge weight off my shoulders, kind of cleared a lot of negativity as well. And it really kind of led me to the last shift. My third shift was really trusting that I could rebuild from scratch. And not only that, but this time knowing that I would do it right, if you will. And I hesitate using the word right because I, again, don't feel like there is a right or wrong, because there's no manual, there's no one size fits all to life. But what I mean by right when I say it in this sense is doing the opposite of what I did in the past that was not right, that was wrong for me. And so the first part of that was, accepting that I was starting over and I was starting from square one in a sense. And once I got past that part, I reflected on kind of my past decisions and said, okay, you know what? The silver lining to this is that I get to start over with kind of an answer key to life, or to my life. I don't want to speak on in life in general, but to my life, because I know now what I won't accept, what I won't tolerate. And that helped me kind of understand what I do want and what I will accept. So going through that, all of that helped me kind of trust in my intuition and in my own self that I could rebuild a life the way that it was meant to be. And kind of avoiding those same mistakes, seeing those red flags that I avoided in the past. For example, in dating, like I would not tolerate any of the things I've tolerated in my past now. And if that means that journey is going to take longer, that I'm going to be alone longer, then that's okay, because I'm in that place of trusting my intuition and letting go of those timelines to compare to, and now knowing that I'm going to rebuild. And if it takes a little longer, if it means that I've got to be more patient, then that's what I will do. And so those three things combined really, shifted my perspective on life in general, my life. I'm now able to say that I'm not afraid to try things. I'm not afraid to go on this journey alone, and I'm not afraid to take a different route or a longer route than what feels like it should be. So I say all that to say I want to be as vulnerable and open as possible, because it's not something that we talk about a lot, and especially at 40, it's not something we want to admit when we haven't figured things out or don't have things working out the way we want. And I just want you to understand that you are not alone, that you're not alone in this journey, and that that's okay. And so you might feel that you're in the middle of a shift right now. Maybe you're still in your own survival mode, wondering if there's more for you. And so I'm telling you, by sharing my story, that yes, there absolutely is more, and there can be more, or if you want there to be more, there is. It's up to you. And you don't have to have it completely figured out, or you don't have to have this plan that you need to stick to, and it's okay to go off script. And to remember that things won't just change overnight either. I also want you to know that as we go further into these episodes, they won't always be as deep or as vulnerable as this. We have plenty of other topics that we will discuss that will be more lighthearted, and we'll laugh a little. But I do want you to understand where I'm coming from, where this all began, and where and how things brought me to this point. So, as you move through this week, ask yourself, what would the aligned version of me do today? Would he or she rest, speak up, create something new, say no, say yes? It doesn't have to be this giant leap, just a small shift, inch by inch, moment by moment. That's the beauty of it, and that's where transformation lives. So thank you for holding this space with me. If this spoke to you, make sure to share it with someone who's in their own shift. And if you're ready to take this journey even deeper with me, don't forget to subscribe or follow, and definitely meet me back here next week because we're just getting started. Okay, friends, that's all I have for this episode. So I'll see you next time. But until then, don't be afraid to go off script.